And we are back on the music podcast. Great music deserves great conversation. Today we have pop royalty with us, Erin Bloomer, and we're going to talk through new music, what's been going on, everything around that. But Erin, we start all of our shows with over and underrated. So what I'm going to do is name some artists. You might think they're overrated, underrated, or maybe they're just rated fine, whatever you think. And Tom will get involved as well. So the first artist I'm going to throw at you two will be Tay McRae.
Oh, I think Tate's fab. I think she's rated just well. Like she's perfectly. I think everyone knows who she is. She's got dance, she's got vocals, she can write. I feel like, and she's only like 2021, I think. Super duper young. So I think, yeah, no, she deserves what she's getting for sure.
Rated just fine. Tom, what do you think?
I would say underrated.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think she gets enough credit. I mean, obviously big, huge. So it's difficult to say that, but I don't think she gets enough credit, maybe.
You think she'd be even
I don't
bigger?
know. Yeah, even bigger. Yeah.
Okay, next is Camila Cabello.
I think she's underrated because of her vocal ability is actually so impressive, like listening to her. But I don't know, she doesn't seem to get her flowers quite as often. Although apart from like June Gloom, she's done well with that one. But yeah, I'd say probably a little underrated.
Westwell, agree?
Yeah, I think so. I always see her popping up at the F1. She's normally on the old grid walk. She's quite big on the old F1. So yeah.
That's the points for you then, in that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Post Malone.
I love him so much. Oh, he's perfect. He will always be underrated. He's amazing. Although I know he's like one of the biggest like rap artists out there, whatever. I fabulous. He's such a sweet person as well. He's so personable, and I feel like that just makes me love him even more. He's like a big giant teddy bear with an amazing voice. Love it.
Absolutely. Westwell?
I'm quite a big fan of Post Malone. I think he's great, and I love the fact that he's like not afraid to just go and do what he wants to do and release different sort of genres and things like that. So I've been a big fan of his for quite a while. So yeah, gets a lot of love. I think he's not underrated. He's not overrated.
He's
He's
just
rated highly. He's just rated highly. But yeah, there we go.
amazing. There's lots of ways we could start this conversation. Evan, we're really excited to have you here. And I want to uncover some of your artistic roots and early stages to kind of where you're at today. What was your first ever memory of music?
I feel like my first ever memory would probably be through my dad. He's always been super into music, always had massive speakers around the house. I'd come home from school every day and he'd be playing music on the speakers, like, and you could hear it be literally making the house shake. Be like Bad Company, Queen, all of those sorts of people. And yeah, I remember we would listen to Lady Gaga as well in the car on the way to school. Yeah, he was a big part of my kind of like music journey. He's kind of what I think helped me develop my first like passion for it, I'd say.
And,
Yeah.
and I heard the person you become is the people you had on your wall growing up. So talk who was on the screensavers, who was on the walls.
So I definitely had Lady Gaga, as I mentioned. I've always obsessed with her, still am now. And Rihanna was big as well for me. And then probably like maybe when I was like 11, 12-ish, I was a big One Direction girl, I'll be honest. I did see them live and I was utterly obsessed. I had all of them up on my wall as well.
I love that. Okay, let's come on to some of your music you've got. You literally have millions of streams. You have a fan base around the world, which is incredible. What I want to know is what's the weirdest place you've ever found inspiration for a song?
Oh, okay. Weirdest place. I feel, oh God, honestly, it can be anything. A lot of the time I use my friends as kind of my inspiration for my music because they live like way more dramatic lives than me. They're way more them. So yeah, mine would be really boring if I just wrote about myself all the time. But maybe one of my songs, Wasted It on You, I actually wrote that for one of my followers. I did just like a kind of like question and answer sort of thing, like what's annoying you at the moment, la da da da. And they told me like their story, and I was like, okay, let's make a whole song about it. And then I wrote "Wasted It on You," so that was fun.
It's something I wanted to dive into today because the songs that are out at the moment, they're very authentic, they're very real. But from what you're saying, it's not from your perspective. You're writing in the chaos of your friends and what they're experiencing.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think a lot of the time, like I kind of first started doing it, not because I didn't have anything going on in my life as well, but it was kind of a way for me to help them feel better and almost kind of process what they're going through. Because first of all, I need like all the details so I can write a good song and an accurate depiction of how they're feeling. So that gives them time to process it. And then to kind of after that, after they have processed, to then have something to listen to and make you feel empowered and kind of take something good out of the situation. I feel like it's quite a cool way to kind of turn it into something good, like a bad situation into something good. So that's kind of how it started happening, I think. Yeah, and just stuck with it really.
It's really clever storytelling that going through kind of friends and bringing that in. It's really interesting to hear. I want to know if you were to meet Lady Gaga in a lift, you have time for one question. What would you ask her?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm really awkward. I'd probably ask favorite color or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know. What would I ask her? I have no idea. I would panic modes.
I think
Uh,
everybody would if they ever met their idol and then you're just in a lift with them. I think everyone's always thinking something like clever to say, but I think I'd panic and just be like, hello.
like really intellectual, and it would just no, it would go.
You'd get out and you'd just be like, oh god, I should have asked that, or should have thought of that. But I'd end up fangirling like fully.
Now, like what I'm gonna have to do is after this, I'm actually gonna have to think of a question in case this happens to me. You've actually prepared for the future now.
All right, Erin, I need first. I want you to tell us after what you come up with. Okay, when it pops in, let us know. Right, I want to know, Erin, because obviously there's a lot of fans out there who will be dying for new music from you. A little birdie tells me they can be happy very soon because some things are happening. What can you tell us? What can't you tell us about new music and releases?
So yeah, I've got a new single coming out next Thursday, which is called Block and Delete. This is like a really fun one because I actually wrote it when I was 17. I'm 23 now. And recently I kind of just reworked it a bit because, as you know, over time your kind of sound changes a bit as I've grown up. Like, I can imagine you guys are not the same person you were at 17 either. So we've had some rewrites, reproduced it a bit as well, kind of made it sonically more me. But yeah, that's coming next Thursday. So that's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And that's going to be like the first single on an EP that I'm releasing kind of one by one. So it's part of like the beginning of a new era, which is really fun.
The time has come for that new music, which is great. If I was a fly on the wall during one of those recording sessions, what would really surprise me about how you work?
Um, I think possibly just how chaotic it can be. It's a little like the recording process because I just have ideas coming out of here, there, and everywhere. And a lot of the time, I'm not very organized. Like, I don't prep and write everything down a lot of the time. So it's just kind of like a little brain splurge in a room. Yeah, that's probably it, really.
Just the chaos of it coming together and seeing how that was. Okay. And obviously, I think there's a lot of artists who'll be listening to this podcast, Ever, and being like, wow, she's achieved so much. Look at this. This is incredible. I want to know that as a musician, what's the best piece of advice you'd been given? And why do you think that stuck with you?
I think this is something like I even kind of did, like I redid it again recently, but I was talking to one of the writers that I work with a lot because I love writing with other people. Otherwise, I find that I can often get in my own head. I mean, that's like a good piece of advice in itself is like being in a room with other creatives and not just solely on your own can be really good because, yeah, as I said, I get really in my own head and I love to be able to bounce ideas off of people and just collaborate. I think it makes it more enjoyable, like, and more of a fun experience for me. But I was with one of the writers I work with a lot called Mary Lay, and she's amazing. And I just did like like an artist brain map, like a branding map of like who I am, what I want to stand for, what I identify as, and what kind of music I want to make, who I would want to align myself with. And honestly, I feel like that has been so helpful for me, just figuring out who I am as an artist, what I want people to see me as or be known for. And it kind of gives you such a clear direction of where you want to be, what you want to achieve. And yeah, just kind of being your own person, if that makes any sense.
No, it really interests me. Like, in that process, are you figuring out who you aren't as well to find out who you want to be? Because everything you post is very real. It's very authentic. That comes across in the music. I'd imagine in the performance, and they've done Great Escape as well. Is it something where you're eliminating, right, I'm not this kind of hat. This is how I want to be with my fans. Is that something you're consciously thinking about?
Yeah, I think definitely, like when you're figuring out what you are, you're also figuring out what you aren't you? I think that's probably just like the normal way of doing it a bit, isn't it? And you can often find that people put you in boxes that you don't personally view yourself as. But yeah, it's just part of the process.
Fantastic. Well, we've got some fan questions come in. This is for Tom. Tom, it says here, what is more British, complaining or queuing?
Oh,
I don't know why Sean's asked this, but
that's a great question. You said Sean asked that. That's a great question, Sean. I think complaining is more British, but I think the best thing you can have is complaining about queuing. I think that is peak Britishness there. That's great.
it's very James.
Or like how unorganized the queue is. I think that's even better. If you're in the queue and there's like people cutting in, like, look at them people over there cutting in. That's going on. No.
I remember like going to Paris and like going to get some food and drink, and it frustrated me there wasn't a queue. Everyone was just bundling in trying to grab something from the caf. I couldn't compute it.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, does it? No.
We've got the next question in saying, would you rather duet with Liam Gallagher or Ed Sheeran, Westwell?
Ed Sheeran, 100%. Ed Sheeran.
Why?
You know why?
That's one because I would. It'd be very interesting to be exposed. I would go with Liam in that scenario.
I think if I was to compose a song with Ed Sheeran, he'd work more to my strengths, and I feel like he'd want to bring the best out of you, and I feel like Liam Gallagher probably wouldn't want that.
Okay, well, that's a really good answer, actually. I like
That's
that.
a good answer, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We've got a question come in. This is from Jessica. Jessica's gone, Tom, if you could go on tour with a major pop artist, who would you be choosing? She's put ... Would it be Olivia Rodrigo?
Yeah. Yes, it would. I think it would.
Just go,
Yeah, I'll go with that.
why?
I feel like she's very talented. Would be doing lots of like, obviously probably going to be on an American tour. Is it a world tour or a US tour or
Let's say world for the sake of this.
world tour? Okay. I just feel like she's not as big as like at the moment as like I feel like if I was on tour with, does it have to be a pop artist?
It has to be a pop artist, yeah. That's what Jessica's asked.
If I was on tour with like Sabrina Carpenter, I just feel like there'd be just too much like press, too much going on, and that's not good for me. I don't enjoy that. So Dua Lipa, I reckon that would be more refined. I could imagine Dua Lipa tour would be. It would be more like nice, like yachts and nice meals rather.
I thought you'd say like Camilla or something, like about and goes to the F1, that kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Probably that then. Actually, yeah.
Erin, is there any big eyes you'd be like, one day I'm going to support them on their stadium tour that you've got your sights set on, or is it something if it happens, it happens?
I think, well, kind of like Dua Lipa, as you mentioned, I feel like that would be amazing. Dua Lipa, someone like that would be so cool. Any of the big pop girls, it would be just an absolute honor. It would be sick, wouldn't it?
100%.
And
100%.
people as well.
Yeah, the amount of people is ridiculous. Well, we're going to go on to the latest music news. Charlie Puth has teased a piano-rich album at a Cannes Spotify party. I don't know if you guys saw this. Lowly Young breaking down mid-show at Wembley due to tech issues. It was heartbreaking to see that, but I think that would do her the world of good going forward, because from what I saw, her in-ear monitors just completely, whatever happened, some technical issue there just exploded and didn't work. You can see her running back to try and get signal. It's not worked. And I think as Loda's been incredible. She's been on these big shows. That was probably her biggest to date. And to have that in that area, there's a really heartbreaking image of it backstage of she's very upset in tears.
Revisio
It's
off crying, bless her. And as an artist myself performing, it's such a high adrenaline moment. Just for something to go wrong like that when you genuinely can't hear yourself, I can only imagine how panicked she was feeling. Like it must have been absolutely horrifying. But all I've seen like people talking about it is everyone is so much in support of her and just feels for her. Like we know how good she is. That one performance does not define her. It wasn't her fault. But yeah, that must be horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's difficult though, like when you've got somebody who is still so new, like, and almost playing these huge shows probably before they've, very quickly playing a lot of big shows, and then you put somebody in that situation, they're almost like, it's, it must be so difficult as well to just be in that. And yeah,
I think with a lot of tech issues on a big scale, you would normally have some sort of backup, either wedges or something you go back to. It very much seemed like in that situation, without the in-ears and not being able to talk them over because of a time, because the next act was coming on. I think people don't realize. I saw comments like, "Why don't you just restart the song?" This and that. On those big shows, it is down to a second. Like either White Festival and Victoria's Festival, they fine you every minute over. Like for the artist, the artist is paying that because they push back the next IS, etc., etc. So I think bringing context to it really helps. But Erin, you're absolutely right. There was a outpour of support with her, and it was lovely to see, I think.
Definitely.
Okay, amazing. We're gonna move on to the music marketing genius of the week. This week, I have seen this artist for the first time in maybe, I don't know, 10 years. And she's come up again and again and again. It is Kesha. And she's come back with all her old tunes on TikTok and really pushed it. And she's rebranded an independent label with Boy Crazy, a new single, bold visuals, and come straight back into touring. And people are loving this nostalgia and the comeback of it. It's a name I hadn't seen in a long time. I don't know if you guys have seen any of this so far.
I have not, no.
I have seen little bits here and there because I actually loved Kesha growing up. I thought she was amazing and she still is so cool. And I feel like we're kind of in that, brat girl, party girl era. And like Kesha kind of invented that in like the 2000s or like mid to late 2000s. So I think this is kind of perfect time for like a Kesha summer, if not a brat girl summer.
Yeah, I was going to say, this just seems like she's really, like, with obviously like Brat that came out last summer and things like that, she's like picked the time to sort of have her comeback. She fits so well into all of that. So yeah, that's great from her. Yeah.
Deathbone.
Right, we're going to move on to the music quiz. Tom, is it me versus Erin this week?
It is, yeah. So Josh is very good at these quizzes, although he finally got defeated last week. So maybe he can bounce back again, or maybe he can't. I'm going to give you a key event in sort of more modern this week, I think, more modern music history. And you got to tell me what year this thing happened. Whoever gets closest gets the point. If you get the year spot on, you get 2 points. So that's how we're running at this one. So Billie Eilish became the youngest artist to win 4 major Grammy categories: album, record, song of the year, and best new artist in a single night. What year was that?
I'm stuck kind of between two dates, but I'm gonna go with 2019.
Josh?
I'm going to be tactical and say 2020.
Oh, you'd be right with 2020 there. That is spot on.
Erin, I would not have got that without you steering me.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Taylor Swift surprised fans with an indie folk inspired album, Folklore, recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic. What year did that album release?
What's the start of COVID? 2020?
There's no clues coming to this one, I'm afraid, Josh. I can't do a cue, please.
I'm gonna go
2021.
I'm gonna go 2022.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to say it's 2020. Josh is closest.
No. I thought that was too obvious.
Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, broke the record for longest running #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. What year did that song release?
2020. I think.
That is so difficult. I remember talking about it a lot because it like mixed genres. It all just blends into one. I'm gonna go 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Oh,
I actually agreed with you, so I just went one below.
oh no. This is not going my way.
Lady Gaga wore her infamous meat dress to the MTV Video Music Awards. What year did that happen?
I mean, you should get this. You're a #1 fan.
Oh god, I have two in mind again. Oh, was it 2009?
I think it was later than that, and I'm gonna say 2013.
It's 2010, so I'll give the point there to Erin.
Finally.
Finally, a point on the board. I think we'll call this the final question. So Olivia Rodrigo released her debut single, Driver's License, which quickly became a global hit. What year did that song release?
2021.
2022.
It's 2021. So you bought a little bit of, she's caught up, but I'm gonna say Josh had won that one with the 5 points to 3, but it was getting a bit of a comeback here. But yes.
A few more.
Slightly, no.
A few more should have got me. Right, Erin, I want to understand. I want to get a little bit of you that maybe people haven't seen yet. What's your guilty pleasure song that would surprise your fans?
Oh, guilty pleasure song. Let me think. I need to look at my playlist. What's in the playlist? Let's see, because it's probably going to be like a throwback song or something, I feel.
Do you think, Tom, do you think it's bad to have guilty pleasure songs? Are they guilty pleasures?
No, you can never
Do
do
you
guilty
proud
pleasure.
of these?
Just enjoy the music you like to enjoy. Just don't worry about it. Just don't think about what other people think.
Someone else listened to it, so I whisper under my voice, I'm like, Shawn Mendes.
No, you don't think about it. I've been listening to recently a lot of 2000s Europop.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's out there for you.
You know, my life.
I think I'd go with Dynamite by Teo Cruz.
Oh,
That
tune. I remember it well. Okay, amazing. What's your party trick? Something people might not expect from you.
my party trick. I'm double jointed, so I've got really bendy joints and fingers. So I'm hypermobile, so I'm like crazy flexible. I can also do the splits.
That's mad. Tom, have you got a party trick?
I definitely cannot do the splits. I am so far. I can't even touch my toes, so I am so far off of doing the splits.
So, Erin, what's a topic of conversation you could talk about for hours that your fans might not know about? I know you're into your fashion. We know some of your big artists from the podcast today, but something that would surprise us.
Well, I don't know how surprised it would be, but anything about cats, I'm obsessed with them. They are the entire planet. That's like any kind of cat when it comes to like a house cat, a lion, tigers, leopards, all of them. I went to a big cat sanctuary with my family last summer and it was like the best day of my entire life.
It's surprising. That is a good little fact there. And then my last question, I'm going to open up to both of you because this is a massive question to finish the pod on. If you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what would you ask? Absolutely stumped both of you there.
That's an incredible question. I was not expecting that at all.
I
Um,
like a lot of British people would have a similar answer in being what happened to Madeleine McCann.
Erin, you took the words out of my mouth. Honestly, my socials have been filled with it for the last like what, a month.
I know, like it's suddenly like rediscovering some new evidence or something. I don't know what's going on, but that's something I feel like every British person wants to know.
Mm.
It's pretty.
just yeah. I don't think that would be
Five, like, no, something.
I don't know. She's like how to be really, really rich or how to live a very happy life or something like that. Surely there's better stuff like
That's a great one. That's
a
not
happy life. I'd rather be happy than find out what happened to Madeleine McCann.
so selfish. What do you think? Right, Erin, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Best of luck with this new music. We'll be supporting and rooting for you. Everyone at home, make sure you go check out Erin Bloomer, Spotify, socials, Instagram. She's incredible and to be the very next big thing. Our next Dua Lipa and Sabrina Carpenter. So, Erin, thank you so much for coming on today. Tom, what do we say?
Thank you for your time, Erin. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. We will be keeping a close eye on the music that's coming out, and thank you to the listeners that have listened. And we'll see everybody next week.